I know it says in the Gemara that on your day of judgment there's 6 questions that Hashem will ask you. It's in the Sechet Shabbat. I always imagined there was a 7th question, which is what have you done for Am Yisrael? And I wanted to be able to give a good answer.
I remember my late grandfather, he was the head rabbi in Baghdad. And growing up, he always told us that we have to do things for Kedushat Am Yisrael. That's how he told us.
You don't think about it. It's something you do. Yes, I'm risking my life. This is for the country. Those are big words, but it's obvious. I live here. This is the right place. This is the right thing to do right now.
When I went to the army, I was 16 and a half. My parents have to sign for me because I was underage.
This is the way you grow up. Since you are in the childhood, you know you go to the army. And you go to the army.
There, you know it's coming, you wait for it, you do it, and you do it wholeheartedly.
For the country, for the Jewish people, for my family, for myself, for my house, for my land, all those things, you know, you're fighting for something that belongs to you.
It's my family, it's my people, it's my land. If not me, then who?
Every Israeli at that time wanted to join the army. It was a great time in my life to join the army. Actually, it made from a boy a man.
You feel a special thing, you know, here is the time coming, I'm going, and it's something, and it's very difficult to explain.
When you march down to the Kotel and you're wearing uniform, and it's italut haruach. There's nothing you can say. You can't say you can separate yourself from it.
There is a very strong undercurrent of never again. Never again are we going to stand defenseless, in front of our enemies.
Well, it's very easy. My parents come from the Holocaust. I promised them that never is going to happen again. And if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it for us?
As a child survivor of the Holocaust, to go into the army at 18, 19 years old, for me, it meant belonging, and it meant holding your head up high and fighting for something you know what you're fighting for, and that was for Israel.
In 1967, Syria started a process that would stir up Middle East tensions and unite the Arab states in a war against their hated neighbor, Israel. But they underestimated the military strength and cunning of the tiny state. And after 6 days of fierce fighting, Israel had destroyed 3 Arab armies and shown that it was a force to be reckoned with.
A few days before the war started, we would take the tanks and drive the tanks to one side of Egypt with lights on and come back without lights. He shows you where you are and then later on attacks you. So as they were seeing the Egyptian moving more of the tanks to the other side where we were going with the lights, and then airplanes were coming and destroying the Air Force, and we got in from where they moved out.
This is the thing with the Israeli army. They always attacked you from place you never thought about it. They're always looking for us next to the Suez Canal. We came from the other side, from Libya. They never thought they would come from Libya. When you take off and you see the whole thing under you blow up, and you see pieces and you see smoke, you feel like you accomplished something, you did something. I believe it's a Yad Hashem in everything, okay? I mean, if you go to fight a country like Egypt, then I attacked you there, This is like millions and millions of people attacked you, And we was able, in one night, to smear the whole Air Force. What can I tell you?
Motagur's troops advanced down the Mount of Olives towards the old city below. But as as Gur's men enter through the Lion's Gate, only 300 meters from the western wall, bullets ricochet off the ancient stone, and artillery fire shakes the old city to its foundations. 1,897 years after the Romans expelled them from Jerusalem. 22 years after 6 million died in the Holocaust, the Jews have returned to their temple.
The euphoria was indescribable. There was Sameach and singing on all the songs that we sang, and the Jerusalem on Zahav.
I can tell you this much, that I understood where the hand of God was. I believe personally, if there was not really God with us, I don't know what's Israel. How would Israel even exist? On all aspects, should not exist.
For me myself, I got shut down and I was surviving the desert for 7 days. People picked me up. For me, it's a miracle. And I think somebody upstairs, above us, above us, guide us to do it.
השגחה פרטית is every second. It's every second, every minute.
In the war, after the war, I saw lots of soldiers that start putting kippas in tefillin.
If you have been in the army while there was a war, you should see how people treat other people. Nothing to do with if you're a soldier or not. If you have to get to the base, you're not going to go on a bus or try to find a way to go. You just go out.
You lift your finger and in 2 seconds the car will stop. And they will go out of the way even to take you somewhere.
We didn't look at the cook, that he's different from a parachuter. Everyone were the same. Because we had the sense that we're doing something very important for our country.
But the big difference in the army, Israeli army, and other army, is the commander, the chief. He's going first and he said, follow me. In other army, he said, you go, I'll follow you. It's a big difference.
I think the Syrians, the Egyptians, they fought because they hate. We fought because we loved. And I think that's the difference.
The most human army in the whole world is the Israeli army. Many times it happened, somebody injured. Even if he's dead, you don't leave.
You train with the guy, you live with the guy, you sleep with the guy, you eat with the guy. Well, you say, okay, excuse me, you're wounded now. I'll leave you now. I'll come back later. It doesn't happen like this. Not in the Israeli army.
Saturday, the 6th of October, 1973, Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. Israel's border troops, below strength during the holiday, came under surprise attack by Syrian and Egyptian forces 10 times greater than their own. In particular, the Egyptians, who fought their way across the Suez Canal with spectacular success, and then engaged them in the biggest and bitterest tank battles since the Second World War.
We noticed around 12:30, 1 o'clock, we noticed something strange. Something is going on. People are whispering to each other, and something is going on. I didn't know what happened. And then I see some people in uniforms coming to shul looking for young people. Anyways, we drove all the way to the front, all the way to the Suez Canal. And there where we faced the first battle, we faced the Egyptians. And for the first week till the 14th, I believe, was the Krav Blima. We had to stop them because they tried to push farther east. And this went for a week. Hundreds of them coming like waves. They destroyed most of our tanks.
I remember it was a chaos, and you saw like soldiers that they came from all over to be tanks, because most of the soldiers that they got killed, 80% of them, they were like tanks in the first line. So they had to replace them right away.
The second command became the commander, and some of us put in the tank.
So I went on a mission that in Golan Heights. There was the tanks. We did what we have to do, and the next thing I know, I woke up in a hospital, and, and that's it. For me, 73 is finished. If I regret it, not a bit.
Fully mobilized, the Israeli army began to turn the tide. Casualties had been heavy. They lost 250 men in the first 2 days in the Golan.
Too many hits hit our jets, and they had to come up within 8 hours for the most ingenious solution how to solve these problems. All the electronic gadgets wouldn't help because Americans knew about it. So the Israelis sat down all night long and they figured the Egyptians are aiming at the engine where the fire is. Why don't we simply extend it by 2 meters, and as soon as we get a hit, this extension will fall and the jet will continue nice and clean. We had 6 hours to produce hundreds of those extensions, and ever since, none of our jets, all of them came back home safe.
In the north, the elite Golani Brigade fought a bitter battle to recapture Mount Hermon, losing 70 men. 8 hours before the ceasefire on the 22nd, their pennant was raised alongside the Israeli flag on the summit.
Our main assignment during the war was to take back Mount Hermon, to take back the positions. And over there it was basically hand-to-hand combat. The Syrians were dug in foxholes, snipers all around. The casualty rate was high because it's open. You know, they have the high ground, you have the low ground. From that point, we all decided that we would fight till the end. There was no giving up and no being taken in as a prisoner. Lord. Lost a lot of people. But we had to take it. It was like someone said, it's the eyes of the country. Without the Hermon, we're blind. We had to take it.
המנהג הוא כשנפגושים להישד יד ליד, ובזה מדגישים גם כן החילוק בין הידיים ידי עשיו לידי בני ישראל, אשר ידי עשיו הרי זה כושר במלחמת ובחבלנות ובהזק וכיוצא בזה, מה שאין כשבני ישראל נפגושים, הרי זה משיטים מיד אחד ליד רעהו, ולהרס על ידי זה שהם משחדים יוחד, וכפי הרמז שתרסנו ניתנה על ידי 10 הדיבריס שהיו כסויים, 5 על לוח אחד ו5 על לוח השני, וכשמשחדים יד עם יד, הרי זה 5 אצבעות עם 5 אצבעות, וביחד זהו מרמז ומזכיר גם כן על 10 הדיבריס, על 10 המאמורס שבהם נברא העולם, ועל השגחתו של הקדוש ברוך הוא על כל אחד ויחס בכל מקום שהוא נמצא. ולכן גם כן אין די כנכה מהשם שנסים למישהו שהוא נכה, כי אם שזהו מראה על משהו נחיסוס וירידו, כי אם אדרבה צריך להדגיש בזה שהוא משהו מיוחד ומצוין על ידי בורא האדם, שנוסן לכיחס מיוחדים יסיירים על מה שישנו לאדם מן השורו, ולכן דווקא ביכולתי להסגבר על קושיים ומניעס שאין ביכולת להסגבר עליהם לאדם מן השורה. ולכן הייתי מציע כמנהג יהודי להויר ולהציע גם בעניונים של חיי אינם שלי שישנו השם ויקורו מצויונים בישראל, אם מצויונים על ידי המלחמה, עם איזה סיבה שתהיה, ואם זה רק שינוי השם, כי אם גם ביור המסר לאמיתוסי, ולכן קדם צייסי וסיומי אסקאבי לסיים גם כן באמירס עליכם שולם.
I saw Chabad and everybody were crying, happy and dancing.
They were the first one every time. Everywhere that we went there was Chabad. They would come to my friend to put the filling. They would come on Shabbat, Erev Shabbat. We're doing Kabbalat Shabbat and stuff, but they're always there.
Maybe I was not so familiar with Chabad, but I always remember that I was really impressed to see how they go, even in places that a soldier will be scared to go.
And they were very nice. We would talk to them, and it was either a holiday, we had to stay, and like Shavuot, they brought us day retreats, and we loved it. We loved it.
Everyone loved them. Everyone loved them because they were like sincere, like they really meant it. They are the first one in a war.
You know, I see Tzahal, it's not an army. I always say Tzahal is Israeli Defense Force. We defend the Jews. All the generations of Jews that couldn't defend themselves, now we can defend them. And even if they live outside of Israel, being there and having the army, it's protecting everybody, every Jew.
I came to Canada right away, and when I saw kids at 21 years old, and I saw myself, I thanked the army. They made me who I am today.
We have to do everything we can to protect this country, because nobody will help us. Nobody, if not, Imena Nili, Mili.
This is the promised land, this is where our forefathers, received God's promise, and we are coming back home.
I don't care what people say. I care about the truth. I care what I know, what I did, and I don't care what people say.
There's no room for regret for what I've done, and there's no pride. I did what I thought I needed to do.
I'm definitely no hero. I don't want to be seen as a hero. I did my duty. I simply did my duty.
Today, if they're gonna, in my age, they're gonna ask me to go to do 30 days or 60 days, I'm gonna do it with good heart.
If I would be called today, I'm 69 years old, to do in any capacity to serve my country, I go as I am now into an airport and gun room. That's my home. And I don't protect it only for me, I protect it for the next generation.
When I was in the army, women did not have the choice of combat. If I was 18 today, I would have been frontline.
Today, if I have to go to the army, I would be a fighter. Yeah.
As battle ready, as Kravi unit as I could, even more than I did, yes, absolutely.